girls, and in the old WWE saying children of all ages. Finally, 10 months after losing by 10 wickets, India versus Pakistan resumes. Same venue, the Ring of Fire. But, there is plenty of uncertainty. Why? Who's got the better bowling? Who's got the better batting? What will be the playing 11s? What should the team do when they win the toss? Favorite India-Pakistan moment, fan reactions, everything. We are having an action-packed dugout. India versus Pakistan does not get bigger than this.
Absolutely not.
Why do we appreciate the Asia Cup? For a simple reason. India play England, India play Australia, India play South Africa, India play New Zealand on a very frequent basis. 2 years, 1 year, 3 years. When do we play Pakistan? Only in multi-nation
Exactly.
events.
It's either ICC events or the Asia Cup.
Yes.
That's it. Since they're obviously bilateral ties are on hold, you're only seeing India-Pakistan encounters in such events. So obviously, you are you're always looking forward to these. In fact, whenever these happen, the first thing that all of us do is look and rush and see where's the India-Pakistan match? When is it going to be? How is the potential of it happening?
Yep. So that is how it is. India versus Pakistan. We are 29 minutes away from the toss.
Yeah.
And looking at Dubai, what happened in the previous game? Afghanistan won the toss and chose to bowl. And they chased down the target pretty easily against Sri Lanka.
Absolutely.
And now, what should India do? Because remember, stats suggest it's heavily favorable towards India. 8-5 in Asia Cup. We have already got 7-0 in the World Cups. Unfortunately, the last encounter between India and Pakistan saw Pakistan win by 10 wickets.
Yeah, that was, I think, their best or their biggest,
At the Ring of Fire. So that is why it's really a big problem that India have. Can they overcome that mental block? But on the other hand, Rohit, KL, Virat, Surya, Hardik, Pant. The batting core is there. And let me be very clear, this is a very special day for Virat Kohli. Let us straight out congratulate Virat Kohli because he is going to be the second player in the history of cricket to say that he will play 100 matches in all 3 formats.
Correct.
After Ross Taylor.
It's a massive
Staggering
day for him,
achievement.
Of course, not just the fact that, it's his 100 T20I, but simple fact is, I think there's going to be all eyes on him. And truth be told, there's all eyes on Kohli, regardless of how he's playing. But I think now, with the way his form has been recently, lots of downs, very few ups here or there. I think more and more people are hoping that, this is the time finally where he does, in fact, finally get to fire, where he shows us that Kohli of old. Hopefully, we don't know.
Yep, it's a jam-packed Dubai. All roads today will lead to the Ring of Fire because as we saw, Pakistani fans, Indian fans, they are all reaching the stadium en masse because this is a very important clash.
Yeah.
Because the winner of India versus Pakistan could potentially set the stage for the Asia Cup final on September 11th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perhaps that could happen. And Kartik Banta saying, my gut says Arshdeep will destroy Pakistan top order. Kartik Banta, let's hope that happens. Right. So hope India wins the toss. TRT,
yeah,
that
TRT, I absolutely agree with you there because I think we know for a fact that when you watch matches happen here in UAE last year, the World Cup, and even with the IPL, the joke was win the toss, win the match, and it wasn't really that much of a joke because more often than not, whoever was winning the toss, you would end up on the winning side. That was half the battle won. Same thing happened yesterday, but of course, yesterday you can say was a bit of an outlier. Sri Lanka didn't really play all that well. So I think in that sense they also partly suffered there. But I think, generally speaking, also for T20s, most teams prefer chasing. Let's leave aside the potential of due or anything. You just like knowing how much, how many runs you have to chase, how you can pace your innings. It's just much easier. So in that sense, I think a lot of people will in fact be hoping that India win the toss and India choose to bowl first.
Well, it's not going to be easy because look, chasing, I'll just give you one simple anecdote. Pakistan have won only 2 out of the 9 T20As that they've played against India in their history. How those 2 wins have come by chasing.
Correct.
They chased in Bangalore in 2012 and they chased in Dubai in the previous time they played in 2021 World T20. So today, a team that wins the toss might want to bowl and chase the target down. Cameras are panned all over Virat, Rohit, the entire team. Pakistan, there's not much focus on it. They are showing some of the Pakistan players. Mohammad Rizwan is there. Haris Rauf they are showing. So, Shivraj Singh, big fan of Sports. Thank you so much. Very nice team. Great knowledge. Please bring Rahul sir. Well, today Nikhil is live at Dubai. He will be very busy doing updates there. Rahul is busy with TV, so it's us two today. But Rahul will be back for the mid innings.
He will be back for the mid post.
Yep. So, will India go with 3 fast bowlers today as grass on the pitch? Okay. Let us now try and debate the playing 11. Okay. My playing 11 is pretty simple, folks. KL, Rohit. In that order, I'm going to say KL, Rohit, Virat at 3, Surya at 4, Hardik or Pant at 5, Hardik at 6, Ravindra Jadeja, Yajuvendra Chahal at number 8, or maybe if I get another spinner, Ashwin/Bishnoi, but I will go with Ravichandran Ashwin at 8, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar at 9, Yajuvendra Chahal at 10, Arshdeep Singh at number 11, but Arshdeep is fighting with Avesh Khan for that number 11 spot. So, at the end of the day, if we have to look at it, that is my playing 11. The only 2 spots that are up for grabs, 3 spots potentially, I will say is DK/Pant, but I am going with Pant, Ashwin/Bishnoi, Arshdeep/Avesh. That is my 3 positions that will be up for grabs. The rest of the members pick themselves.
Yeah.
Shane, what about you?
No, I think for me, I know that, as Shivraj points out, that there is grass. I don't think that grass is going to be giving that much assistance for
in the first 4-5 overs.
First 4-5 overs, that's it. I think so. For me, I think I'm sticking with the playing 11 that we had picked out a couple of days back on our dugout. I don't see there being any major. Of course, if you're talking about major surprises, maybe, just maybe, I think if the team decides they want to include one of both keepers, then maybe I think you'll see some tweaks. But honestly, I think the sensible team call would be to pick one keeper and play with only Pant and make him bat lower, so 5-6 depending on what you want to,
Amit Kumar Jha, can India play 3 paces? But India will play 3 paces because Hardik, Arshdeep or /Avesh.
I think he means 3 full-time pacers, and I doubt that, honestly.
No. See, you'll pick Bhuvi. Hardik is already there. You'll probably pick either of Arshdeep or Avesh. That's your 3 paces done. You'll pick 3 spinners. Ashwin or Bishnoi, that is the question, because Chahal and Jadeja select themselves.
Yeah.
So that is why the playing 11 is more or less settled in my mind. There was one more by our family members that he was saying Naseem Shah poses a threat. But again, look at your combined experience of your pace bowlers, opening pace bowlers, if they come. Shahnawaz Dhani or Naseem Shah. We don't know about that, what's going to happen.
Exactly, it could be one or the other.
Yes, but even then, if you get them, your combined experience is not more than 5 T20Is. That is the unfortunate thing that has happened with Shaheen Afridi getting injured. Shaheen's injury has totally blunted the entire Pakistan bowling attack. So, Ratan Kumar saying India will open with Rohit and Surya.
Dear God, I hope not. Please no. Please no.
Ratan Kumar, again, why would you want to open with Surya and leave your middle order totally exposed to KL Rahul, whose strike rate has not been that good. Okay?
And also, he's best suited to opening.
Yes. Rohit could be the aggressor. But again, what did India do prior to the Asia Cup? They tried opening with Surya. They tried opening with Pant. Maybe Pant could be that X factor if he opens. But then again, where will you bat KL Rahul then?
And again, then if you have wanted to play Pant as an opener, why not try it out more times than the one time you did?
Yes.
I don't know. I think what we saw, and I hope I'm right in this regard, is that if there was any experimentation that was happening in the past, that was only because you didn't have KL there, and not a case of them trying some new tricks for the World Cup coming. I hope to God that's not the case, because that will just be very, very unfortunate. Then it's a case of shooting yourself in the foot simply by trying to fix things that aren't really broken. If you've gone with KL, then I think you should stick with playing KL atop the order, or otherwise forget it. Makes no sense.
Himanshu Tripathi is saying Ashwin will be key market. Again, it's very split between Ashwin and Bishnoi. Everybody wants to pick Bishnoi primarily for the fact that he's a surprise package and he can take wickets. But again, it will depend. If your three spinners, as I said, Chahal and Jadeja pick themselves, but the third spinning option could be it could be Ravi Bishnoi / R Ashwin. Who do you pick in that sense? We'll see at all. And great to see Rahul Dravid back with the Indian cricket team. Remember, he tested negative for COVID and he has rejoined with the Indian cricket team. VVS Lakshman.
I think he got a 2-day break in the UAE. That was pretty much it.
From Harare, he came to the UAE, but then now he's back in Bengaluru to deal with the India A program. Kartik Banta is making a plea to Rohit Sharma. Please, Surya at number 4 and no Avesh. So Avesh seems to be on RLW. His match said yes. Chart preparation 20 minutes. Amit Kumar Jha, look, as I said, Arshdeep or Avesh, what is going to be? And it's not RLWL, I will say it is RAC. Who will get that confirmed berth? Amit Kumar Jha, we will see. RAC WL for either Arshdeep or Avesh, we will see. Because look, Rishabh Gamer saying Arshdeep would be an out of syllabus for Pakistan. Really? In what way? On the basis of 2 T20Is?
Arshdeep, I don't think they have that many problems with left arm seam.
Yep.
They produce them a dime a dozen, in all fairness.
Absolutely.
So I think it's in India that we in fact have, a heredity or a paucity of quality left arm pacers. Pakistan's never had that problem.
Yep.
Abhay Pratap Singh is constantly making a point where he says that Rahul should be out instead of him pick Pant for opening. On what basis? Again, I'm sorry, but on what basis? If you had to be doing experimenting, and I agree that I think Pant could be a good opener, but why then weren't you sticking with that experiment before?
Okay.
I don't think they are seeing him in that role.
Okay, shock value. Shock value. If KL Rahul is out, only then DK makes it.
Right.
Otherwise, there is no way you can fit DK in that batting order. Are you going to drop Jadeja?
Exactly.
No, you can't drop Jadeja. Yes, he's not had a good run against Pakistan in major multi-nation events for the last couple of editions. Dropping Jadeja would be foolhardy. And let me tell you one thing. If you want to play DK, you can't drop either of Hardik, Surya, Virat. Rahul on a big game experience thing, considering the fact that he's just come back in the Zimbabwe series, looked slightly rusty. Wow, Himanshu Tripathi, if I take that comment, then I'm pretty sure we are going to be termed in a very, very derogatory way.
Himanshu. Virat is not
being dropped. Sorry, Himanshu.
Virat is not being dropped. Plain and simple. Dropped from what precisely? He's taken a month's break and you're going to not play him? On what basis?
By the way, I found this very, very interesting about Virat. Like, he's now reaching that mental space where he's absolutely clear. But again, when you're off the field, like I will just give his mental health analogy, okay? When you are in the system, your mind tends to feed on that negativity, and when you go out of the system, you feel, okay, I have done this wrong, I have done that wrong. Here, once he steps out on the field, what Virat will you see? That same aggressive Virat. Okay, I will just throw the question to all our family members. If Virat Kohli today scores a 40 of 30 balls, let's just assume 40 of 30 balls, do you think Virat Kohli is back in form? You can just mention that in the chat, in the comments. Again the question, if Virat Kohli today scores a 40 of 30, or if he scores a 50 of 40 or 45 balls, do you think Virat Kohli is back in form? Just mention your comments in that. Akhil Mohandas, you are questioning about Arshdeep's experience, but didn't question Bishnoi.
Bishnoi has played 4 more matches?
4 more matches, Akhil. And again,
that's not a question.
Ashwin looked rusty in the series against the West Indies. Didn't take that much of wickets. And by the way, many people are saying pick Ashwin based on Fakhar Zaman's availability. But Fakhar Zaman is not that Fakhar Zaman of 2017.
Exactly. Fakhar Zaman himself has been struggling in recent times. In fact, when we talk about Pakistan, we say that the top 3 is key. I would actually go as far and say that, of that top 3, 2 of them actually have been in mixed form recently.
Yes.
One has been Fakhar Zaman and the other has been Rizwan. Rizwan of 2022 is not the same Rizwan of 2021.
Yep.
So it's a different ball game, honestly. So I don't think you have to worry that much about Fakhar Zaman and say that you want Ashwin there for that.
Yep.
Ashwin in T20Is is not a wicket.
Yep.
He's not a wicket taker in this format anymore.
See, again, what is Bishnoi's strength? Is he going to dart the ball in and then take wickets? And because remember, he's not worked on the leg spin variation. He's just a googly bowler.
Yeah,
that's the criticism that is coming. But if you pick Bishnoi on this way, because look, in the previous game that was played on the same pitch, Mujibur Rahman doesn't spin the ball, but he skids it through. He darts it through.
Also, the one thing which I have to say with Bishnoi, he struggled in the IPL, but internationally, if you look at his last 3-4 games, his numbers aren't bad.
Yes.
He might go for a few runs here or there, but Akhil Mohandas, Bishnoi has played 9 T20s compared to Arshdeep's 2. So 9 is a lot more than 2 last I checked.
Yep. Now there is again a very, very mixed, and our family members are very, very divided on Virat Kohli. Many are saying he will not be back in form. I won't think that he will be back in form 40. Prashant Trivedi is saying. No,
Karthik says
Vivek Singla is saying no, that will not happen. Either he scores 50 of 30 or he gets out quickly.
Possible, but as Karthik says that if he gets a 40 runner of 30 whilst chasing in a winning cause, good enough. Again, I don't disagree with that. So
it's difficult.
It's difficult, and you would have to judge based on the circumstances what is a good knock. However, I think even if Kohli gets a big knock today, and by big knock I don't necessarily mean 100. I mean if you get a 70, 80, even a T20, that's a big knock.
That's a big.
If you get
by the way, in the team huddle, Virat Kohli was giving a very passionate speech about. He was the one calmly and passionately just giving a speech about what this game means. So Virat Kohli normally gives the team huddle talk. But again, Virat Kohli is a different conundrum. Why? It's like, okay, he's saying Virat Kohli should score 100 to get back to form. But in the T20 format,
scoring 100 is not
prime Virat Kohli, even Virat Kohli at his prime never scored 100.
Exactly. And not just that, more importantly, what you have to do is that with Kohli right now, for me personally, and this is my opinion, you can tell me if you agree, is that his slump has been going on for so long.
1,000 plus days.
Yeah. Leave aside the century thing. I think even from 2019-20 times, there's been a downturn of form. Leave aside the centuries.
Yes.
So his slump has been going on for so long that I don't think one good knock is getting him out of that funk. I don't think that's happening, because again, we thought it was happening. Remember when he scored that quick fire 70-80 against, I think, Gujarat, was it, in the IPL?
He got
against Gujarat
59
and
he hit.
Yeah, and no, that was a quick fire one. I'm not talking about the runner ball. Remember the last game which RCB had to win or something like that. So he got a quick fire 70 odd, I think, in that match. And a lot of people say, oh, he's back, he's this, that, but see what happened after that. It's not about one knock. I think he needs a consistent run of good matches, and only then can we say yes, Kohli is back.
Prashant Trivedi, I want to ask you, if Kohli doesn't get too many runs in the next 3 games, so you drop him to get DK back in the 11 as a replacement?
No, because it's different roles. Unless you want to play Pant in the middle order, which I get, but I don't think that I don't think they're going to stick with that. I think the middle order is fairly sorted, and you're playing Kohli. If you want to take a call on Kohli, the T20I batsman, I don't think it's going to be taken until after the T20I World Cup.
Look, again, Prashant, is DK your number 3? That is the first question you'll have to ask. Is he going to play for that particular role? I don't think so. See, DK comes in at number 5 or 6 or 7 at most. My replacement for DK is if Jadeja does not fire. If Jadeja does not fire, or if KL Rahul does not fire, then and only then you're getting DK in the team. Otherwise, if they take the gauntlet and say, okay, Rishabh Pant does not fight for 3-4 ODIs, then DK makes it.
Even then, I think to play DK in place of, say, someone like a Rahul would require a major rejigging of the batting lineup. And honestly, I think the biggest problem with India right now,
not really,
is that where would you play if you're dropping?
If you're dropping Rahul, okay,
either Kohli is opening then.
No, then either Pant or Surya opens. Okay.
As I say,
Virat. If Surya opens, then Virat at number 3, Pant at 4, Hardik at 5, DK at 6.
As I say, you need to mess around with a pretty, at least on paper, settled middle order. I think one of the problems is that India, right now, we keep talking about, and we've been talking about it for months, the core. You're as close to a core as is possible now. And honestly, you can't possibly be experimenting at this point. So I think even if 1-2 games, these guys don't get runs, you're not chopping and changing unless absolutely necessary. That's my take.
Yes, Dex, I think Rohit will go ballistic tonight. We hope so.
Yeah,
we hope so that it happens. I think DK is alright. Tell me, Himanshu Tripathi Singh, tell me 137 strike rate. Just go up slightly if you can.
We'll need to scroll up for that.
We'll need to scroll up slightly. Tell me 137 strike rate Virat or higher strike rate DK. What DK can do in T20, especially at now, if Virat can play number, India will lose World Cup also, carrying out of again Himanshu. Look, DK's strike rate is higher
because he plays at a position where he's required to go from ball one.
DK will not have that higher strike rate
if he's batting at 3.
Remember, when DK was in great form in the 2018-19 season, you picked him for a different format in the World Cup and he struggled. Classic case, semi-final against New Zealand. Did DK set the stage on fire? No, because he was totally out of position. So that is why we are all saying that let positions be clear. My major concern for India, whenever this has happened, even prior to the World T20, I've been saying rotation and position. Where are you going to play all your players in?
Correct.
That is going to be the key, which is why I was not a big fan of the experiments that was done against Rishabh Pant and Suryakumar Yadav, because Surya succeeded. But then are you again going to play him at number 4? You will have to play him.
Yeah, because you'd have to be, ideally that's his best position. That's where if you remove Surya from number 4, then suddenly your middle order looks a lot weaker. Because there's question marks over Kohli's form, and the one in-form batsman you have, you pushed him on the top of the order.
Yes. Avinash Avi is going on like a airport announcement or a train announcement, which is having Rahul will be back in the mid-innings, hopefully, because it's India-Pakistan, there is lot of work.
There is TV-related work.
So today, आज YouTube हमारे हवाले वतन साथियों. So Pradeep Srivalsan is saying KL, Rohit, Kohli, Sky, Pant, Pandya, Jadeja, Ashwin, Bhuvi, Yuzi, Arshdeep. That's my team, Pradeep. Thank you so much. Even Shane agrees with that to a certain extent, although it's Ashwin / Bishnoi.
But I still think it'll be Ashwin getting the nod. And even though India has played many more matches, how many matches after the T20 World Cup with this team? See, again, that's another different matter altogether, because even this team is a bit makeshift. Remember, there's no Harshal Patel, there's no Jasprit Bumrah.
Yes.
So neither of these guys are there, and you would ideally be accommodating both of them. Remember, you're not playing 3 spinners in Australia.
Yes.
So in that case, I think Ashwin will drop out when you get to Australia. So that gives you the space to accommodate 2 pacers.
Yes.
Because Arshdeep will also drop out. Of course, Arshdeep potentially, if you ask me, considering Harshal, I think will not. There's a good chance he's not making it. He might retain his place, but Bumrah comes back in, and I think he'll come back in place of.
By the way, there was visuals of Hassan Ali also there, and also Naseem Shah. But remember, Hassan Ali might not play today because he just arrived.
Hassan Ali arrived only
in the afternoon.
Exactly. So I highly doubt he would play. And as Ratan Kumar says, I don't think Avesh will play today. Agreed. I don't think Avesh is playing because I think Arshdeep will get that nod as the second full-time seamer. But of course, we don't really know. There seems to be is there a debut?
Yeah. Oh yes, Naseem Shah is making his.
So Naseem Shah
is making his T20I debut today, and so potentially there is no Shahnawaz Dahani then.
Yeah, because Shahnawaz has played before. So
yes, Shahnawaz Dahani has played 2 T20Is. And Naseem Shah, the 19-year-old pacer, has gotten his T20I debut. So probably my bowling lineup for Pakistan will be Haris Rauf, Naseem Shah, Mohammad Hasnain, Usman Qadir, Shadab Khan.
Yeah.
And probably Mohammad Nawaz. But again, if you get Nawaz, then that batting lineup is really, really thin then.
Also, Prashant Trivedi has an interesting question. He says, do you think Ashwin's performance here will decide his place in the World T20 squad? No. I think, unfortunately, because I think the other 2 options, you had Bishnoi, who's had on and off form. Kuldeep might have been a good choice for the 3rd spinner, but he's barely gotten game time. So I think Ashwin is pretty much a lock for that 3rd spinner slot within the 15. Unless something really changes. So I don't think how he performs here will determine it. Because again, you have to remember in Australia, you would be playing with Yuzi and Jadeja. So Ashwin might be a backup.
Yes.
But that's my take. Of course, things can always change.
Yep.
We don't know.
Kartik Banta is saying Pakistan lacks a good spin attack. Maybe Shadab is an extreme, but yes, compared to the previous instance of Pakistan's spin attack, yes, they do lack that bite in it. But I will say one thing: never underestimate the Pakistan team, because see, they are as mercurial as they can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pakistan's greatest enemy is themselves. They can be brilliant on a given day and challenge all the top teams in the world, but if the day goes totally horribly for them, they can even lose to school pedestrian teams. Raj, Pant has 120 T20I strike rate after playing 54 games. Please justify his selection.
Why
Raj,
not?
Again, we are not justifying a selection. It is because he has played the most number of games you'd want. He is your first choice keeper. Simple.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, all of us have said it. In fact, if you ask me personally, I would have stuck with DK a little longer in T20Is over Pant. But I think the Indian team management's, thought process is that we know that he can be a game changer and X factor. And I think just when he was close to being dropped, he ended up getting that key 100 against England.
Yep.
So I think that is going to justify a lot of
numbers are heavily against Rishabh Pant. I'll make it very clear.
In fact, even his performances in T20Is, he's not justified his explosiveness.
He's not.
He's done it in test matches a lot, and ODIs again, he's been hit and miss.
Right now, he's been slightly good in 2021, 2022. So, Kartik Banta, I will agree with that. Pant selection on the basis of current form rather than stats. Why has dropped Pakistan? Aman Gupta is saying, why has Pakistan dropped Imad Wasim, who bowls due ball and a decent World Cup 2021? It beats me. It really beats me why Imad Wasim was dropped, because he could bowl very well in the power play and he could dry up the runs also. But I just don't know, maybe a total dip in form. That's probably where he will probably, Pankaj Kumar Rahul will join us probably in the mid innings or towards the end of the game. Sundar is saying today or maybe later Ashwin will replace Jadeja. Possibly.
No.
If Jadeja is not in form, maybe.
No, because Ashwin is not half the fielder Jadeja is.
Fielder, I will just go for the fielding aspect, Sundar. I haven't watched Tamil commentary, I'm very, very sorry, but I will try whenever.
TRT makes a big claim, and I'm not sure how correct he is, that Shaheen Shah is the same Naseem is the same caliber as Shaheen. I think it's early to call that.
See, Naseem has impressed with pace. Okay, he's bowled in the high 140s. He's often troubled players in test matches. But again, remember, Naseem is raw. And okay, I will take Naseem's debut and just dispel a potential myth that is there. Okay. There is a myth floating around that India struggles against left arm pace. Okay, left arm pace. It's wrong. I will tell you why. Looking at the pattern of dismissals, India has a problem playing space when the ball is coming in, when there is inward movement. How did Rohit get out to Shaheen? How did KL Rahul get out to Shaheen in 2021? It was with the ball coming back in. It wasn't an away going delivery. It wasn't the angle across. How did Bolt get Virat Kohli out? By getting the ball to cut back in at Old Trafford. The ball that comes back in, there is a major technical deficiency in that. So that is why I am saying this whole talk about left arm pace troubling India. No, it is the incoming delivery, the in cutter that has troubled India consistently. Matt Henry also, even when he got those wickets, most of them were straight deliveries that stuck on the wicket and not banana swing. It was just a hint of movement. Okay, so yes, the toss is coming up in about a minute's time. One hopes that Shane, it's simple, right? Win the toss and bowl.
Yeah, I think that's going to be that's the strategy that these teams will be taking. It's plain and simple. Whoever wins the toss is bowling. I'd be very shocked if anyone.
Udit Chandani, well, then if that statement is true, if it is true, then it speaks for the desperation that Pakistan are wanting, because if Udit Chandani is like saying, if Naseem Shah is injured, he's taken an injection to be fit for this game. Very, very problematic then. If either Gautam Krishna is saying, if either KL or Virat don't set the stage on fire, why not Hardik and 3 and get DK in the 11? Hardik could be used as Mitchell Marsh in Australia.
Interesting, but I don't think, again, one of the bigger problems which India had in 2019 was too many last minute changes just before the tournament. I think at this point, even if the players are not in form, it would make more sense to just stick with your plans, because quite frankly you've not seen enough of your core team. So in that sense, I think it would make more sense to stick with the players who are best in their positions, although I don't think it's a bad idea to use Hardik at the top of the order. But if you wanted to have those experiments, it needed to be happening much before now.
Yes.
Now you're in a tournament, it's not the time to experiment.
So it's going to be toss time, and a stat before I sign off for the toss. Pakistan have lost only one T20I that they have played in the UAE. And when was that loss? It was against Australia in the semi-final of the World T20. Prior to that, they had won 16. And now it's going to happen. And so, Rohit Sharma launches the coin, and it's India who have won the toss. India have won the toss, and
I think they're going to
they will bowl.
They will,
potentially.
Potentially. We're not calling it officially.
Yes.
It's not official yet.
Yes, and there is a loud roar in Dubai, absolutely loud roar in Dubai that India have won the toss. So, India are going to potentially bowl.
Yeah, we'll see the official confirmation soon.
Yes, we are just waiting for what is.
In case you guys wonder why we wait for the confirmation, is because we are more often than not watching it on mute. So we have to wait for that confirmation. We don't want to be giving you wrong information.
Yes, absolutely. So, it is going to take a bit more time. I think they have won the toss and chosen to bowl.
Yeah, we'll know that.
But anyway, India did stress that they wanted to bat first. Occasionally, because they want to just test all this. Just there only, Anurag, just there only. On top. On top it was. Yeah, there, on top.
Yeah.
Yes. So the thing is, not yet. Nothing yet. We are still waiting. So we can only say that Rohit Sharma has won the toss.
Let's just go to the comments.
Bowling! There we go. India have chosen to bowl. And Naseem Shah is making his debut, and Arshdeep was marking his run up. So maybe Arshdeep is going to play.
As kind of expected. Let's keep an eye out on the other link.
Yep. Just go down a bit. And Bhuvaneshwar Kumar could potentially lead the attack. And there is a talk that perhaps there will be 3 spinners.
As it was expected. I think we all expected that to be the case.
Yep.
It wasn't going to be anything else.
So India have won the toss and chosen to bowl. Naseem Shah makes his debut
for Pakistan.
Pakistan, and that is the thing. And Rohit Sharma very, very clearly has said, toss is not important.
He's saying that, but if toss wasn't important, he'd have picked a bat first.
We have played here in the IPL, so hopefully the pitch will be good. IPL was played in September, October.
And also the pitches weren't great.
This is August. Much hotter, much humid. Oh, Rishabh Pant is out. Rishabh Pant is out.
Hold on, they're playing 3 seamers.
Yes, Avesh is the 3rd seamer.
Alright, so in case you're wondering where Siddharth's gone, he's gone to get a headline changed, or this headline of this video. So let's actually walk you through this lineup, because there's been a bit of a surprise there. So Avesh is playing as a 3rd seamer, which means that India are in fact going in with 2 conventional spin options. So most likely, Yuzi Chahal and Ravi Jadeja will be those 2 spin
options. I didn't see it coming.
And Rishabh misses out. That's big.
That's big.
Honestly, if you guys and you can go back and check this, when we were doing the dugout and we were predicting our playing 11s, I said that I think Rishabh would be the selected choice, but I would want to see DK. We get to see DK. Wonderful.
Oh yes, so DK is your first choice. Rishabh Pant is not playing this game,
and that's a big call.
Big call. Kudos.
It's very interesting and very impressive on their part.
Yes.
Because it would have been the easiest thing in the world to do that. Pant has scored an ODI 100, and we can let him.
I think because he's underwhelmed in T20Is,
they at least looking to give the DK a slightly longer rope.
Yes. So guys, India have chosen to bowl, and Rishabh Pant is out, DK is in. Avesh is also in probably. So that is why Avesh Khan is
Avesh
in.
being in is very interesting because it means they're not actually going with the three-pronged spin option.
They are only going with two spinners.
Proper spinners.
Jadeja and Chahal.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Avesh,
Can we go back to the other
Arshdeep
page
and
see
Bhuvi
what
and
is
Hardik Pandya.
Because we're debating on a lot of stuff and we
Yes,
don't really
yes.
know.
Go down. Yeah.
No.
I think they haven't done it yet. Yes.
No.
So.
Go to the main one.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
No, not there. Commentary.
Yes.
No, not that side. The other side. Yeah.
Yep. Oh boy. So that
Keep it
is
here, you get
a
it?
shocker. Absolute shocker. I did not expect this. I thought DK will not get a chance, but in the first game, Asia Cup, India versus Pakistan,
I think
it's DK.
And the other one, of course, is that Avesh gets to start, which means that they're playing three pacers. Yikes! Wow.
4. Hardik, if you include Hardik.
Yeah, but Hardik now I think will be a proper, I think bowl to overs types at most.
Yep. So again, if by this team selection,
And by the way, interestingly, Pakistan have gone with the same combination.
three fast bowlers, two spinners.
And of
who are
course,
the two spinners? Shadab and Mohammad Nawaz, or Shadab and Usman Qadir? We'll have to see.
we'll have to see that.
But two leg spinners, I don't think so. They have probably gone with Shadab Khan and Mohammad Nawaz. Mohammad
Correct.
Nawaz, a left armer, and same team combination, Jadeja Chahal, wrist spin, left arm. I think they have copied the Indian cricket team, I suppose, for all this. Three pacers, so that means.
But it's interesting. Both teams have read the conditions and decided that we would be better sticking with three pacers
Yes.
rather than going with three spinners. Three
Wow.
full-time pacers here in this
Wow,
case. So
wow.
very, very interesting.
Yes.
All of us.
I'm only glad. Okay, that means by this team selection, if DK does very well,
Then Pant could be
then Pant is there in the 15, but he is not an automatic starter in
for the World Cup.
T20.
No, absolutely
He
not.
isn't.
Because if DK comes in here, gets a couple of how many? There's 6 matches.
Yep.
And let's assume he plays the entire tournament. 5 matches would be the groups and super fours. The 6th would be the final. If he gets even 2-3 good cameo knocks down there.
There was this sudden selection reminds me of a post that the Indian cricket team put out during the practice session on day 1.
Yeah.
In that, they had uploaded 11 photos that they would be practicing according to this. And DK featured in that. There was no Rishabh Pant.
Interesting. In fact, if you remember, Nikhil was telling us that Pant was in practice at least hammering them well out of the park. He was sending it to the middle of the other ground. Or the other.
Even DK.
Yeah, DK I meant, sorry, not Pant.
Yeah, DK.
was hammering it down there, and I think they've looked at that and said, okay, yeah, we're going to stick with Pant with DK because we know with DK, and that was the thing I always said about bringing in DK for Pant, is that you're not disrupting the batting order.
Yep.
You can play both of them in that middle order. With DK, you can in fact even hold him back. They've done it. I mean, they sent Akshar to bat ahead of him once.
Yes.
So they can hold him back and say, we'll keep you only for the last 3 overs.
So this is the Indian team.
Now
Rohit
it is-
Sharma, KL Rahul,
Expected.
Virat Kohli,
expected.
Surya Kumar Yadav, DK and Hardik.
DK, Hardik, Jadeja. I
Yes.
think that they're showing DK at 5 here.
Yeah,
but I think that's going to be flexible
Yes.
based upon the circumstances.
Ravindra Jadeja, Yajuvendra Chahal,
Bhuvi,
Bhuvi, Avesh and Arshdeep.
very interesting. Very interesting.
The only thing was whether Ashwin or Bishnoi played, that's been thrown out of the window. It's Avesh who's
Also,
playing.
we have Pakistan's 11 as
So
well.
Pakistan's 11 is Babar Azam, Mohammad
Expected.
Rizwan, Fakhar Zaman,
Expected.
Iftikhar Ahmed,
Also.
Khushdeil Shah, Asif Ali, the power hitter and potentially a finisher.
Yes.
Shadab Khan, Mohammad Nawaz, Naseem Shah, Haris Rauf. Oh, there's no Mohammad Hasnan. That's
No
Shahnawaz
Hasnan.
Dahani.
Exactly. So
Yes.
Dahani gets to play. We were debating that it would be between Dahani and
Naseem Shah.
Yes, but they played both of them.
Yep.
Haris Rauf, of course, was expected. I think he's the most experienced pacer they
Yes.
have right now.
Yes.
It was him and Shaheen, but with no him, suddenly there's a lot
Yep.
of pressure there.
So there is no Mohammad Hasnan. Remember, Hasnan was in the news recently because there has been doubts over his action.
Yeah.
But he's not there because then I think an extra pace option would not have guaranteed much for.
No.
No, wait a minute. I think there is some confusion. The host broadcast is showing that Hassan Ali is in the team. Mohammad Nawaz, Hassan Ali. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's some confusion.
There is
here,
confusion. There is Naseem Shah and there is perhaps there's no Shahnawaz Dahani. It's probably
Shadab Khan also.
yeah. Shadab you mentioned. Shadab
Shadab
Khan
is there.
Shadab Khan, Mohammad Nawaz. Naseem Shah.
Hassan Ali starting is a big shock. It's a very big shock. He would have arrived earlier in the day. He's barely gotten any chance to practice.
Yes.
Yeah,
there is some confusion. I think the host broadcast is showing that this guy Hassan Ali is in the playing 11 for Pakistan.
Yeah, not Shahnawaz. In place of who? Is it Shahnawaz or Nawaz?
No, Shahnawaz.
There we go. That's the confusing part.
Yes, so there is some confusion. Already prior to the match itself, there's confusion. Typical Pakistan. What is the playing 11 that they have? So that is the thing. So again, we thought that the batting lineup will be as per it is: Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, Fakhar Zaman, Iftikhar Ahmed, Khushdil Shah, Asif Ali. Shadab can wield the long willow, but after that it's Naseem, Mohammad Awaz, Haris Rauf,
and Shahnawaz or Hassan Ali.
Yeah, that's a bit wafer thin. But when you look at the batting for India, they bat till number 8.
Confusion, the broadcast cleared it that there was some confusion.
So who's starting then?
The same team as showed.
Oh, okay. So yes, apparently the host broadcasters got it wrong, folks. There is no Hassan Ali.
Can we just double check that on the other website?
Yeah, can we just do that? Yep.
Yeah, because I'm a little unsure now. Just go to the other side.
Yep.
Yeah, can we check it here? Yeah, see? Exactly.
Yes.
Shahnawaz is there.
Yep.
Nawaz is there.
Multan Sultan, Shahnawaz Dhani.
So there's no...
there is no Hassan Ali. The
Thank
host
God.
broadcasters had a slight
Bit of a-
confusion because
yeah.
we were also wondering, because the event technical committee has to clear it by today.
But I don't think they would have
Hassan
been able
Ali
to do
arrived
that.
just today.
Exactly.
So that is why he couldn't have gotten the clearance. So no Ashwin, no Pant, DK. Wow.
But we're talking about Pakistan having an inexperienced pace lineup.
Yep.
The downside to that is you have Indian batsmen who would have no clue how most of these guys actually bowl. There's no
Yeah.
Shahnawaz. Shahnawaz Dhani would be,
An unknown,
someone
just
who's an
too many.
unknown.
Naseem is an
Naseem
unknown.
is definitely an unknown, making his debut. So suddenly you look at that and you're like, okay, considering that and the fact that Pakistan are known to be unpredictable and mercurial, could be a very interesting game if one or two of them fire. But of course, based on a quick cursory glance, that Indian team looks much stronger.
Yep.
Much stronger.
Yeah,
Avesh being the only bit of a doubt here, you can say, because again, his recent form hasn't been great. That's nothing to do with how Avesh is as a bowler. I think he's done decently well in the chances he got prior to this. But in recent times, his form has been a little here or there. He did kind of disappoint and underwhelm, especially in the death in recent matches. So that's a bit of a doubt. But otherwise, man, that Indian team, I think that's the one major surprise. And the other, of course, man, no, what do you call Rishabh Pant? No
Yes,
Rishabh Pant.
Rishabh Pant, what a shocker. Absolute shocker for me. I never expected that. But well, DK, let us be very fair to him. He did have a great IPL. He did impress in the series against South Africa. Remember, it was DK's exploits that ensured that India at least came back on a level playing field along with Hardik Pandya.
Correct. Can we go back to the comments now? We need to take some
Let's just take
comments.
a few comments, Anurag, and we will just see. Yeah. And Avesh needs at least 3 matches to perform in the fourth.
Oh, that's a little harsh.
Yeah.
And let's see. Varun says that I think DK gets in for his experience, composure. Pant misses out for inexperience and not putting price on his wicket in previous occasions. PAK, huge game. Agreed with India team, but Avesh. Look, Varun, spot on, bang on all of those. Unfortunately, once India decided to go with 3 pacers, considering the squad they'd picked, you had to be going with Avesh.
Yes.
Normally you'd have, and for me as well in the Australia squad, you'll have 4 pacers in the squad.
Udit Chandani, I do agree. DK may have shown with the bat, but his keeping has been very, very pedestrian, if you may say. Because in the England series, he struggled. Even in the West Indies series, he struggled. So I will just say DK's keeping better be up to the mark today. Because if I look at it, DK with the bat, even he struggled a bit in the West Indies and even against England.
Correct.
Again, where on earth can DK come in? Okay, because everybody says DK only will play in the 3-4 over period that is there towards the end. But again, suppose if DK is needed urgently, can he play from 12 to 20? Depends.
Yeah.
He just has to hang in there. That's all I will say.
Yeah, a lot of comments, by the way.
Where is Nikhil?
No, not that. I was talking about people talking about Avesh. I think that's the biggest shock, more so than Pant, because I think a lot of people were asking or expecting that Pant may not, in fact, be featuring in the 11. But Avesh is, I think, the big talking point, and I think today there's going to be a lot of pressure on him.
See, my views on Avesh is pretty clear. He's been more miss as a death overs bowler. But here today, potentially,
I don't think he'll be a death overs bowler today.
Even Arshdeep, I am saying, is probably going to fill in that death overs void.
Correct.
Along with Bhuvaneshwar. So, you are going to open with Avesh and Bhuvi. And get Arshdeep to bowl 1 or 2 in the middle overs and then 2 in the death along with Bhuvi.
In fact, you might even bowl one of Arshdeep.
Or if India want to take the gauntlet, why not take Yajwendra Chahal in the death?
Let's see. If they have 3 pacers, I don't think you're going with Chahal.
Because you got Hardik Pandya who can bowl in the middle overs. Or maybe Bhuvi opens with Hardik as a sort of shock factor. And then Avesh bowls in the middle. Bhuvi bowls out in the power play, and then you have Avesh and Arshdeep in the death overs.
Avesh and Arshdeep is very give and take in the death because
especially Avesh.
Yeah, give and take in the sense that Arshdeep will take and Avesh will give.
Yes.
So in that sense, very give and take, and I wouldn't be a fan of that. Yeah. I think there's a lot of options, honestly. Ankit, if you're asking where's Nikhil, he's on TV right now, man.
Yep.
We've already made
and he's in
clear.
Dubai live at the Ring of Fire. So we have to hope that
he joins us today.
Yeah.
At least for now.
At least for now. He'll be back in the mid innings and hopefully, but I don't think he'll be there in the post match because he has to do other stuff. So, as I said in the start, Aaj hamare hawale watan saathi ho. See, this India-Pakistan game, the build-up has not been as comical, if I may say, or
intense,
as compared to previous instances. Because look, Asia Cup and the ICC events are the only places where you'll see India versus Pakistan.
Correct.
But this time, looking at the talent pool and looking at the depth in both sides, India trumps on all those factors. So that is why I will say that India have the edge on all facets against Pakistan. In the 90s and even until the first decade of the 21st century, you had the case of it is Pakistan's bowling versus India's batting. Now it's not true anymore when it comes to India versus Pakistan. It is India's batting bowling versus Pakistan's mercurial coming together.
And in fact, more often than not, right now, I'd say their batting is probably more dangerous and more settled. More settled at the very least.
Yep. Very, very surprising how the tables have turned. Can we go down? If we can, let's get more comments.
Let's take a few more comments.
Yep. Hopefully, Avesh doesn't disappoint. I think, Akash Bharadwar is saying, I think Arshdeep with new ball getting Babar early will be crucial.
Yeah, I agree with the second part. Getting Babar early will be very crucial. But why Arshdeep?
Bhuvi.
Yes. You have Bhuvaneshwar. And in fact, if yesterday Fazal Haq Farooqi was getting that kind of banana swing, don't forget Bhuvaneshwar was getting it as well when he was bowling. So I wouldn't put it past Bhuvi to,
Yes. Arshdeep, I don't think he has that pace to trouble, but yes, he gets tremendous amount of swing.
He does.
He
and
varies
the left arm angle is always
he varies his lengths well. He varies his variations pretty well. But for pace, I will say Bhuvi swings it at 135, 140, gets it in, and Babar is a sitting duck. Because again, as I said, modern batters in this era, they have got a problem against the delivery that comes back in. They don't have that much of a problem with the delivery that goes away because they are learned how to leave the ball or just play it late. With the in-ducker, you don't know how to do that. Shivraj Singh, I told 3 fast bowls, but DK or Pant, this bold statement at team, I would say yes. It is a bold statement. It shows that we want to have our finishing extremely strong, and Hardik and DK filled that bill.
Although Jairaj Rana makes a good point. He says that why didn't India choose to bat for this match? Because the best platform to check your World Cup players and also not a do or die match. I disagree with the second part, but I do that's the big question that even I had, because if you had Rohit say, the toss isn't important, boss, you wouldn't be choosing to bowl first if the toss wasn't important.
No, see, that is just a token saying, but I will say go with the trend and you would want to bowl first because there will be some juice. Why do you want to experiment with a trend? I just want that to be understood. You don't
see. I would understand them bringing it against Hong Kong. Not against Pakistan.
Jairaj Rana, that might happen. Why India not choose it? Maybe they might bat first against Hong Kong.
Although to be fair, they didn't do it against Zimbabwe. So
yeah. See, you would want to go by convention. What works for you, you better go for it. Why break something when it is already fixed?
What works for you, it's what works for everyone.
Yes.
UAE was basically win, toss, win match.
Yep.
So you will stick with that.
Win, toss, win title. Look at all the games. England, New Zealand. England batted first, New Zealand chased. Australia, New Zealand. Australia chased. Look at Pakistan, Australia. Australia chased. There wasn't a single game in which a team batted first and won.
Yeah.
South Africa, Australia chased. West Australia, every game of Australia they chased and won. So that is how the UAE is, and I think if you want to try that, try it against Hong Kong, because look, India again. No disrespect to them, they are in a very, very easy group. It is not like the group of death in the others in Group B, where Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh.
They're all very interesting matches.
Very, very interesting. And India in 2021, let me be very honest, they had the easiest group, only to botch it up spectacularly against two nations, Pakistan and New Zealand.
Exactly.
That's it.
Was it New Zealand the second match?
That was the second game. After you lost that by 10 wickets,
tore up the template entirely.
Tore up the template. You just ensured that let the whole team be dismantled and start afresh. What happened? You just managed 110 and you never came back into the tournament. Here, I just hope that if one loss happens against Pakistan, especially in the start, because look, India and Pakistan are both going to go into the second round in the Super 4. So let's not. Rahul Vasudev,
hello to you, and hope it's good and hope it's good down under. And he says that Avesh should be utilized between overs 4 to 16. DK is a good choice to play at 6 or 7 over Pant, and hoping for Afghanistan kind of start to seal the match.
I love Rahul Vasudev's last comment.
Yeah.
You want to dominate. Look, you want to give it back to Pakistan for that 10 wicket hammering that we got in the 2021 World Cup, World T20. It was a hammering.
It was.
Let us not sugarcoat words.
It's never good to lose a match by 10 wickets.
10 wickets, yes. So yes, I hope that India manages to get the better of Pakistan. Remember, if you dismantle the top 4, Babar, Rizwan, Iftikhar,
and
Asif Ali, and to a certain extent, Iftikhar can hang in. He did trouble Australia in the past when Pakistan went to Australia in just before the 2021 World T20. Iftikhar did trouble them, but again, he wasn't that consistent. So yes, Avesh from overs 4 to 16 is not a bad choice.
Yeah, because I think you'd want to keep him for the middle overs or the bulk of his overs for the middle.
My simple strategy would be bowl Bhuvi out in the power play, keep Arshdeep for 2 overs, okay? Bowl Avesh, Jadeja, Hardik from overs 4 to 16, get Chahal and Arshdeep for the death. That would give you a signal of intent that, okay, we are playing this game according to our terms. We are not looking at conditions. We are not looking at the outside noise. We are playing the game according to our conditions. Udit Chandani, Fakhar Zaman is a crucial wicket. I don't think so. The most crucial wicket will be Babar and Rizwan. Those two. Although Rizwan of 2022 is not the Mohammad Rizwan of 2021. Let us be very clear about that. So Pakistan versus India. Avesh inclusion, Gautam Krishna. Yes, it is pretty startling, but I think they feel that there is some juice in this wicket, and that is why they have gone with 3 pacers.
And Rakshit Malhotra pointed
out he's
that,
not happy.
Yeah, he's saying that, you with DK being picked over Pant, you don't actually have left-handers, in that batting. I think that's been a problem of India
Except
for a while. Except for Jadeja. And I don't think that, they're going to be looking at it like that. I don't think so. Neither should you be building a team based purely on left-hand, right-hand. You pick your best 11, regardless of how they bat.
But oh boy, DK over Pant. Oh my goodness.
I think there's a lot of talk about Avesh, but for me, DK over Pant is probably the biggest call that team management chose to make.
Abhay Pratap Singh, Pakistan will be all out for under 100. Difficult. See, I will be very brutally honest. Okay. Leave aside the outside noise, hyper nationalism and jingoism. Let us leave that out. Honestly, in my opinion, when was the last time you saw a thrilling, nerve-tingling India versus Pakistan clash? Family members, you can also think about it. For me,
in fact, let us know in the comments.
Yes, let us know in the comments. When was the last time you saw a thrilling India versus Pakistan match? My last thing would be 2014 Asia Cup, when Shahid Afridi hit those 2 sixes in the last over bowled by Ravichandran Ashwin. Pakistan won that game by 1 wicket, and that was the last win. You didn't win in 2016, you didn't win 2 times in 2018 in the Asia Cup.
2019, we know they.
2021, but that was a World T20. I'm just looking at Asia Cup.
And in fact, that's the thing. You actually haven't really had a thrilling India-Pakistan match in quite a while. Before you said 2014.
Udit Chandani saying 2011 World Cup.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. Aside from the example Sid gave, the only other example I could come up with was 2011 World Cup, and that too because remember you had Wahab Riaz get a couple of very quick wickets.
5 wickets.
Yes. No, I'm saying a couple of quick wickets. Remember, you got Yuvraj for a duck.
Oh yes, he got Raina and Yuvraj out in
so
quick
those
succession,
were key wickets, and even after that, when India were bowling, there was never really much doubt. Even with Misbah there at the crease, there wasn't much doubt that India were winning, and even that. But so that's the thing. That was the second most thrilling match in recent memory. So it says a lot that generally speaking, India-Pakistan matches don't exactly produce spectacle. It's always going to be, a one-sided match. Whoever wins, at least recent history tells us that.
Jera Jana, when Pakistan toured India the last time, barring that Delhi game, when Shami picked when Shami did well on debut. Yes, that was 10, they won by 10 runs India, if I'm not mistaken. In 2012, they won at the Firoz Shah Kotla.
Was that Shami or was that Bhuvi? What am I remembering?
Bhuvi bowled in that Chennai game.
Chennai. Right.
Pakistan won in Chennai and in Kolkata, but they lost in Delhi. 2014 Asia Cup was the last time Pakistan won, and we are now seeing Pak Zarzameen, the national anthem for Pakistan. Very, very beautiful and rhythmic national anthem, I would say. It's very like every national anthem has got its own unique thing, Shane. I mean, let me tell you, South Africa plays their national anthem in 18 different languages. Sri Lanka Mata is the longest with 3 minutes and 50 seconds. India is Jana Gana Mana, which is nerve tingling and passionate. Pakistan's Pak Zarzameen is very, very, you may say, rhythmic, melodious to hear. And if I may add, Australia and New Zealand also, their national anthems are pretty unique in a way.
There was one interesting comment where someone said, "Why don't we try?" I missed the name, but it said that go slightly up, not that. Yeah.
Okay, Saurav Goyal.
He says, why doesn't India consider KL Rahul as a keeper? Then you can play one more all-rounder like first.
Big problem, Saurav, in that is KL is more injury prone now. If you put him as a keeper, his injury woes will increase.
He's just about gotten fit recently, and also let's be fair, KL's keeping is solid at best. It's not spectacular.
And when you already got Hardik Pandya, okay, he's a fast bowling all-rounder. But why would you want to get another all-rounder in Deepak
And
Hooda?
honestly, I don't think they see Deepak Hooda as an all-rounder for T20Is. They didn't bowl him in any of the T20s that he played. The matches he did bowl was, of course, the ODI matches.
Yep.
So,
and Dubai has become either Mumbai or Kolkata or Chennai or Delhi.
There's a good Indian contingent over there.
Good Indian contingent. 80% of the stadium is filled with Indian spectators. They have comfortably outnumbered the Green Brigade there, and that is why you feel as if you're playing in Mumbai or Delhi.
Yeah, it feels
Chennai.
very much feels like a home match for the Indians, at least looking at the fans. Absolutely. And as Udit Chandani says, KL will never keep again. Yep.
Pradeep Srivalsan, very, very naughty first comment. I will not even get into that. Pakistan, he's saying 142 for 8, India winning. Well, we are not disagreeing with the fact that India are winning. See, you won the toss, half the battle is won. That is how the UAE is. Pakistan's score. That is going to be tough to predict. I predict 135 for 6.
So that's Pakistan. You say they think,
and India will win.
Obviously, this is one of those matches where you can very confidently say whatever happens. But India.
But disclaimer. If you are an ardent sports fan, if Pakistan wins, it shouldn't be a surprise because they are mercurial, they are temperamental. Anything can happen. Which Pakistan will come out? Is it the school level Pakistan team, or is it that world beating astronomical Pakistan team?
Exactly.
That we will see.
That's the thing that we'll have to see. Since everyone is calling out score predictions, I say Pakistan will get 145, and I think India will win. Let's see how right or wrong we are, because I think all of us are looking at Pakistan as a bit of an underdog.
By the way, for all you Pakistan fans, let me be very, very clear. You have lost only one T20I in the UAE that you have played. You were whitewashing opponents left, right, and center in 2018 until the 2021 period. You whitewashed Australia, you whitewashed New Zealand, you were hammering all the other nations who toured the UAE. But when was the last loss? In the previous game that you played in that semi-final against Australia at the same venue, at the Ring of Fire.
And what was it, by the way, that was their undoing in that match was the fact that they didn't have much contributions from the middle and lower order. So Australia in that match, the top order didn't really do much, but you had two valuable 40s from Stoinis and I don't know.
Wade.
Yes, yes, of course.
Wade.
Matthew Wade. He was the man of the match.
Man of the match.
So,
no, there were two things, two problems that happened. Okay, Babar started brilliantly. Fakhar Zaman gave them a good platform.
Yeah,
I mean,
he did.
he ended well in the death overs. I mean, see, Pakistan's batting was not the problem, but at 96 for 5, you didn't press your foot on the throat of the opponents.
Yeah.
Number one, Hassan Ali dropping a catch. Pakistan and dropping catches is a legendary love story like Romeo Juliet, Laila Majnu, Shirin Farhad. You can talk about all that, but Pakistan love to drop catches. And that is why that dropped catch and Shaheen, the Shaheen Afridi, who troubled India for that one over, he bowled 3 balls in the slot and Matthew Wade dispatched them for 3 sixes.
Correct.
That was it. Okay, they have less to lose than India. Varun Parvataneni saying
not really. I think, much as we
Pakistan
said-
would not like to lose to
Exactly.
India in any situation. And same is true for India.
Yeah, I think whatever situation, you could have Pakistan dominating world cricket or India dominating world cricket with the other, thing being true. But I don't think India will ever want to lose to Pakistan, and I don't think that Pakistan will ever want to lose to India.
Yep.
No matter how whatever camaraderie the players
Yes.
have, this is a match they want to win more than any other match.
Yep.
Anyway, the match is about to start.
Yes, two
So-
slips in place.
And Bhuvi with the ball in hand.
New ball in hand. Let's see the amount of
Ooh.
swing that he gets. We'll stick around a bit. We'll just see this swing masterclass from Bhuvi Kumar.
Let's see
happens?
how much movement
Because
he can generate.
Fazal Haq Farooqi,
Yeah,
the
my
amount of
God.
movement. And it's Mohammad Rizwan on strike. It just about
There's a little
held
bit
its
of nip
line.
here.
Just about held its line. Hardik will bowl second over. I'm not shocked DK Edappan. Prasad Bhagat, yeah, probably, but I was shocked, honestly. Hardik bowling second over will be good. It came back in and it just held its line. That was fantastic to see. Bhuvi is getting not that much of swing, but it's just the first ball.
Even Fazal took 3-4 balls to get that,
Yep. Hardik bowling the second over will not be a bad choice at all. I think, although I would just suggest if the font was better, it would have been much better viewing. But well, we are.
I think that's
appeal
out.
for LBW
that's out.
and Rizwan
Rizwan is gone. I'm pretty sure they'll review
But they'll
it.
review it. They have to review it because he's their first core batter, and I think they have reviewed it.
Yeah, I think he's saying that it's high.
It's high, but remember he's been given out on the field, so it just has to clip.
Yeah,
this time.
unless it's missing entirely, he's a goner.
Yes, he's a goner. As I had said, Varun Parvatani can't get away from the biggest goal in Ajman and Malik drop catch. Oh boy, that was hilarious.
Oh, that was really bad.
I mean,
Thanks for refreshing my memory. on that. That was
Varun,
hilarious.
forget Ajmal and Malik. What about Kamran Akmal? 4 dropped catches in that final in that league game against New Zealand. Palakele. Oh, you guys are magic, doing commendable job. Only go to YouTube channel Sports Updates. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Saurav.
Saurabh.
Yeah.
Also, by the way,
It does look out. Remember,
No, I think, personally, it's striking him very high. So there's a
Clipping.
half chance that
yes, it just has to clip the ball.
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
And Dubai bounce. It's not like Perth,
It's not, obviously not. No,
the Perth of old though. This Perth wicket
current
has
Perth was Pata.
absolutely no bounce.
there's no bat.
No
clearly,
bat.
there was
But
no
remember,
bat.
in the previous game, what happened? There was no bat, only a murmur. He was still given out.
No, but here I don't think
If
there
that
was,
happens in an India-Pakistan match,
Oh
the
my
umpires
God.
better watch out for their citizenship because effigies will be burned, houses will be stoned, and we don't know what else. And it's missing.
Oh dear God!
It's
I
missing.
told you. I said it was hitting him high.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh boy, the umpiring gets it wrong yet again.
Although to be fair, honestly, I thought it was out.
Yep.
On the first glance, I thought it was out. But man, that was a good review by Rizwan.
Yep.
Although I don't think they had much choice.
Yes, yes. So the Pakistan contingent are very happy with that, and let's see what happens. Because remember, there are effectively only 4 batsmen in the Pakistan team who can make a difference. Babar, Rizwan, Iftikhar and Asif Ali. It was a Kushdeel is maybe hit and miss. Bad ball on the pads. So not much swing early on. So let us see what happens now. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this. We'll be back in the mid innings. We'll be back with the post match. Hopefully with a lot more people.
And there's of course even other sport going on as well. So check in on us.
Check in on that.
That's what I've
Don't
been
forget
doing, by
to
the way.
subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. Don't forget to download the Sports website and the app.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Tata, bye bye, vanakkam.